Hello, everyone, and welcome into today's episode of the Maple and Blossom podcast. Today's episode 39, and we are covering part 3 of Sound Euphonium. I am one of your hosts, Maple, and with me, as always, is the co host, Blossom.
Yahoo! Welcome everyone.
All right, let's jump in.
to our best podcast though ever.
We're going to do our blow bestie and let's carry through
That
this.
is my line. You can do your mate. You can do your mate bestie, your ma bestie. I don't even know what it'd be for you. No, I was just doing my bro bestie for 3 hours stream. Twitch, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay. So yeah, let's get right into it. So the season opens up with the band playing, and we see Kumiko waking up and hurrying off to school. So we quickly learned that they completely skipped their second year, and now Kumiko is like in her
They're
third
just
year
in
of high
third year
school,
now. Yeah.
which I was like mad about. I think we'll get into it.
I was
think.
definitely surprised
don't
with
know.
the decisionary choice that they did on
It
this
was
one, but I
yeah.
understand. With
Okay,
the way
I
that they
think
did the first 2 seasons, I was like, okay, I get it.
So throughout this season, you will find out that I'm more. I can understand the scene, like they're in the last year. That's fine. Like, okay, I don't mind the
Yeah, yeah.
skip. I have a lot of other problems with this particular season. How they
Yeah, so do I.
crammed all of the stuff they did in the first 2 seasons. They crammed all of that into one season, and
Yeah.
the pacing felt really. The pacing was fine in the beginning, but the problem is it was too fine, because then at the end it felt like they had to cram in all this stuff that they were just kind of holding back, and it was kind of anyway.
Yeah.
Kumiko became the president of the club of band, which is neat. It's actually really good. I like this decision because it really shows her character growth. I think like her character
Yeah.
growth is really good, because like at the beginning of the anime you wouldn't really pick her as like the president though, right? But I really liked like her progression and the way she connected with the characters. It got stronger, right? Like it was a good
Yeah.
it was a good world progression, world building that I really enjoyed throughout the 3 seasons of this anime.
I agree.
We don't. And then we get to see all the new band members, and they talk about needing to recruit new students for the tuba and euphonium. Kosaka, she's still saying that she loves Taki, where I was hoping that maybe after a year that she would not be like this anymore, but no, she still is doing that.
No. Oh, I know.
So when walking home, they hear the sound of euphonium, but they aren't sure who's playing it. And we find out that there was 4 girls interested in the brass section. It's Suzume, Kaho, Yayoi, and who's the 4th one? I don't have the name here. Got to put the 4th name.
Sally?
I think it was Sadi. Yes, I think it was Sadi.
Yeah.
And we learned that the year before they lost in regionals, right? They didn't even make it to nationals the year before, right? If I got that correct.
That's correct. They lost in the second round. They didn't even make it.
Yeah, it was sad. And like you have to feel really like, I feel bad for like Yuka? Yoko? Wait, I forgot Yuko.
Yeah, Yuko knows.
I've like
Yuko knows me and Natsuki. And then I guess
knows me, and
knows me.
Oh my god, yeah.
Mizore,
yeah. I feel bad for them that they didn't really make it anywhere through, but we go again. They did the same introduction as the first year did. Like, we are the band, like we are the sectional leaders. Like it's kind of like I don't really have much to say other than it's kind of like literally the same thing.
it is basically exactly how things were going, and then they decide again to decide what their goals are for the band.
I do really like, again, real quick, is like I like Kumiko, like she's taking action here as the president, she's taking charge and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like it's good, like I said, it's good growth for her. Everyone raises their hand in agreement to strive to win nationals. And at
Yeah.
the end, we see Kumiko hearing someone play the euphonium, and we find out that this girl is Mayu. And that's kind of where episode 2 starts, if you want to like jump us into that one.
Yeah. Yeah, so then episode 2 starts with Mayu being introduced into the class as a transfer student. So all the girls are kind of like introducing themselves, and Mayu said she talked to Taki about joining the group, and and those kind of details, kind of thing, and that Kumiko was the president. So that's kind of like how she recognized Kumiko right away when they were talking. They asked if she's going to join the band, and it's kind of revealed that she just transferred from a prestigious school who always competes at nationals, kind of thing, right? They're always there at the top, near the top. So she replied that she's a third year and she transferred, and she'll join if she isn't a bother. It's kind of a reoccurring theme throughout
This
this
is
kind of
one of the
thing,
most
and
reoccurring things in the entire like anime, where I'm just like,
yeah.
This was so annoying, and they were I felt like they were kind of trying to play it. Oh my god, who kept I forgot. Why do I forget her name every time? The girl who kept quitting.
Nozumi.
Sorry, I have no idea why I can't remember her name, but yeah, it was Nozomi. She kept wanting to quit, right, and come back and stuff. No, it wasn't Nozomi. At the end, the girl with the glasses. That was not Nozomi.
Oh, you mean Asuka?
Yeah, there we go, Asuka.
It's
That's
not
who I
like she
also
kept
felt bad for.
quitting. She wasn't sure that she was gonna
Yeah,
quit,
okay.
kind of thing. It
This is the
wasn't
same
like
thing.
noticed.
This is
Yeah, yeah.
literally the same thing, and it goes on the whole season.
Yeah, but this one gets really annoying.
This one is worse somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Kumiko and Kosaka and Shichi talk to Taki about which pieces they should play. Of course, the group split up in practice and they start getting to know each other more. It's just idle gossip. It's just mostly irrelevant chatter. Kosaka is a little jealous that Taki is around Kumiko to make the decision on what song to play. It felt like to me.
Who?
Yes. Reina was
Oh,
jealous
Reina.
that
Not necessarily jealous, but I think she definitely was more of like, why are we being selected? I think it was more of like a questionary thing, like as to why. And I think a lot of them had it where they weren't sure as to why they were being selected. Basically.
So we see them practicing like they practice marching and stuff like that, because that's usually the Sunfest is the first
Marching.
sort of like event that they do, like the marching thing that they do, right? They did it in the first season as well.
Yeah.
Taki believes in the three leading the band more than the previous years, which is why he is ultimately letting them choose their song, which is why it's revealed that he's like, well, I believe in them more than I did the last few years, right?
Well, they're also talking about it. They also talk about it, and they kind of like, in a roundabout way, get to that point. Because they were like, given how Asuka and the president were, and then in the second years when they voted for Yuko and Natsuki to be president and vice president,
yeah. They were like,
their personalities were way too off.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
And it's kind of like, there's no way they would have agreed on anything to begin with. And it's just with us, he got to see our progression as a group together and how close we all are, that he probably felt it was easier for us to actually give an opinion on these things.
So they finally have their songs that they're going to be playing, and they really start focus on the Sunfest and kind of like the upcoming year as a whole. That's kind of where this episode ends. I don't have really much more.
The only thing you kind of get a sense of is where the season's kind of going a little bit is you do see Kumiko getting approached a
Oh,
lot in
that's
this
right.
episode.
By
You
Suzume.
see her, well, not just Suzume, but some of the other girls, like, talking about Koska and how you know, she's drilling everyone too hard. She's pushing everyone way too hard, and the first years are struggling, and she just keeps making the practices more difficult. And then
Reina
if
does.
they
Hi.
can't, yeah, and then if she can't perform, like if some of the first years can't perform because they're bad, she kicks them out and sends them home first. And it's kind of like they're taking issue with it. Like if they're bad, and they need to improve. Keeping them in is the best way to do it, not send them home first. And then you see again, like you said with Suzume, questioning why her sister was on flags instead of being on drums, and she kind of like,
Yeah,
well,
she's like, oh,
her sister
exactly.
rushes over. Her sister rushed over. Is like, I chose this. I wanted to do this for
Yeah, she
once.
wanted to do the Katagado. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hi.
she's like, my friends are doing it, so I wanted to do it, right? So you're getting the sense where she's starting to get annoyed, and you kind of see it wearing on her because as she's going through the episode, you see her like as she's walking when she's by herself, you see her going like,
Yeah, she's like sighing
why
and
are
stuff like
they?
that.
Yeah, and she's like, why are we doing this? Like, why? And then yeah, that's where that more kind of ends, and then it jumps into episode 3.
So, episode 3, we start off with the. Mhm. Reina talks to Kumiko about her future and is kind of pushing her to play music, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna be joining music college, right? Like, what are you gonna be doing, right? Like, you're good enough to do music college and stuff.
Yeah, so she wants her to kind of continue and actually pursue it with her. And in a lot of ways, like, she knows that she feels now like if we don't have music to connect us, we're probably going to drift apart. So she's really trying to push her into a musical school so they can kind of be close together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially given the fact that Kumiko has already said like she doesn't know what she wants to do. So it's kind of like, well, look, if you can't decide here, I'll decide for you, the kind of thing, right? Um, so again, you see them continuing practice, and again, some of the girls are, taking offense to how the practices are going,
Yeah, because
and
Reina's being assertive and drilling them again, right?
yeah, yeah, and well, and the reality is, it's like I can understand from her position because it's like again, we have to get better, we have to improve, and it's like we can't hold the hands, but I can also understand their perspective where it's like you could also put them separately a little bit to, especially to start learning things. Like to jump straight into the fire like this is a little bit much. And it's not even something they did either, right? It's not like they were trained that hard when they first started either, right?
I don't know. Like, I think they were. I feel like there was like a lot of corrections that were still made against them
They
as well.
were.
So I think
They
they
were.
were.
But they did a lot of like physical training, right? It wasn't so much like some of the other stuff, right? Not quite as intense.
I will say that the marching outfits again are cute. I like them a
Yeah.
lot. I wish they showcased them doing more
Mm,
marching things because the outfits were
I
cute.
do.
But
I
I
think
get
so
it. It's
too.
just like one sort of thing.
Yeah.
And
So
again, we hear some more of the first years coming to Kumiko with like issues about some of the other first years not practicing as much uh, and I think we hear is this I think this is where we first hear about them wanting to quit. I think is this the first?
yeah,
I think
Suzume asks um Kumiko to talk to her for a bit because as they're going into the music room, Sally's told that her and Kosuke are going to be alone for a bit because Suzume wants to talk to Kumiko, and she just runs off. She doesn't want to be alone with her at all, and she kind of reveals that like the more extreme, serious music first years respect and revere, like they admire. Kostka and the way that she's training them in her approach. Where she's like some of the other ones who are just starting in or it's their first year or, like just giving it a try kind of thing too, right? They're not
Mm-hmm.
used to her style. So they don't like it. And they're feeling overwhelmed pressure and she keeps adding more and more and more and more to it. And so a lot of them are really afraid of her and they're thinking of doing a mass protest, a mass quitting.
So, so first off, like right before that, like Suzume asks Kokumi if she's in a relationship with Reina.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I have this in my notes and I put like I think this is a waste of time. But see, that's where like the first years who aren't taking this seriously, they're just there for like the gossip and garbage like that, right? And that's
Well,
kind of
it's
where
it's
they
it's just fun. They think it's gonna be fun, right? We just play instruments, we learn how to play a bit, and
exactly.
they just think it's
Hmm.
mostly gonna be like music class, and that's all it is, right? Um,
Right.
we just get to do it a little bit more, and that's more what they think, right? So yeah, so she asks if they're dating, and she says, "No, we all think you for sure you guys are dating. Just how cozy you guys are in that." And, she tells them they're not dating, and yeah, so she points out that they might boycott them.
Hmm. So yeah,
So
the next day,
yeah,
three of the first years are sick, right? Um,
all together.
all together, and then we see here that Mayu doesn't think it's worth going after them. It's like, oh, if they're thinking of quitting, we shouldn't wait. Like again, we shouldn't waste our time. And that was Reina's approach the first year too. Remember, she was like, well, if they don't want to play, like, who cares? Like we shouldn't worry about them, sort of thing. Or
Yeah.
that was
Well,
Asuka. That was Asuka's.
Oscar.
Like
Yeah.
yeah.
But she says it the same thing. She's like, if they want to quit, quit, and then we can focus on the performance and getting better, right?
Hmm.
And she's like, it's just a club after all, so why should we, really care? Why should we bother to go after them, right? Um, but again, Kumiko was trying to not fall into the same pattern that what happened when she first joined, where she heard all of the stuff with, you know, the um, the
First
first year's
years.
quitting and that, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, and she doesn't want that to be the same kind of thing for herself, right? So she agrees to go
Kumiko.
talk to.
Yeah, she talks to the girls who didn't show up and Sadie. And this is where like she talks to Sadie and like you said, this is where she worries about Rena pushing everyone. And I think she's right, like in a sense, right? And then Kumiko
Yeah,
says that she thinks the way that they're practicing needs to be changed up a bit to give the first year more time to adjust, right? Like, okay, maybe these really intense, harsh practices isn't
yeah,
what we need. Um, but she's really happy that Sally has been trying to keep everyone happy, like host by herself and stuff like that. Like Sally's been trying
yeah,
to keep everyone like together. But this is where Kumiko kind of like this is the first big step as like president. Though, where she's like, okay, she feels like she needs to be the one to rally everyone and keep everyone's spirit high as the president,
yeah,
though, right?
yeah,
Like she's like, okay, this is a good learning thing like early on for me. Because they're all aiming for the same goal. If they're all aiming for nationals, like she has to try and get everyone on the same page here. Um,
yeah.
and that's kind of
Yeah.
where this episode end. I don't know if you want to go into their conversation a bit more.
There's not
I don't
much
know.
more to it. That's generally it. She just has issues with the way Koska is and that. The only kind of thing is at the end, you kind of get a sense that a little bit more of like Suzume's personality, where she kind of apologizes, like, you know, no, sorry, yeah, I told all the other girls to stay home because I really wanted to make you panic a little bit.
Yeah.
So you can go and talk to Sally and kind of help her out, right? It was kind of like, yeah, I was just manipulating you, so
Just,
kind of thing.
oh god.
So episode 4, we start with more of the Sunfest training. So with that coming up, they're all working hard, and the practice is now picking up, and they're picking up the pace on it. So we hear one of the seniors yelling at a junior, and they end up going to check on them, and they see, the girl was asked. She's like, I was just asked to handle the roster by the roster management, like just go and check and make sure there's no mistakes in the roster, like everything's good, right? And she got yelled at for saying the guy's name.
Mm.
So then you see Midori is talking to him, and it happens to be Motomu, and she said that he shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have yelled at her, and he apologizes. They end up walking away. So you kind of see the four of them, like Kosuke, Midori, Hazuki, and Kumiko. They're all walking home together, and Midori says that she noticed that things have actually been off with him lately. Um, and then like Hazuki says, "Well, I don't really notice, but I mean, he doesn't really talk to anybody, only Midori." And Midori says, "Yeah, that's because he doesn't trust people." And then they mention the reason being is that his grandfather is a famous instructor in kind of like the high school scene, so he's kind of like well known. And it's one of the reasons why he doesn't like his last name being used because he doesn't want to be associated. He doesn't want people to kind of like piece it together that that's who his grandfather is. So yeah, we see that he's kind of told that his grandfather had signed up as an advisor to a kind of rival academy in their area. Is it Ryusei Academy? Is that the one?
Yeah, Yuri say. Mm-hmm.
Uh, in that he had taken them to nationals. So they said that Motomu was a shoo-in at the school, but he chose to go to their school. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was. This was a
So
little bit interesting of a scene, kind of thing overall.
yeah. So they attend the Sunrise Festival, and just something really short here that came into play is, um, they do well, I think, and Reina compliments the first years um for
Hmm.
practicing and doing well. Kumiko tells Reina that she believes that finally someone passed Asuka as the germline like leader, which I thought was nice. We learned that Moto's older sister passed away 3 years ago, right? And
Yeah,
um Moto wanted to study with Midori, but she kind of pushed him away. Like turned him down, I think. I think Moto kind of has crush on Midori, right? It's kind of pointed at that. I think even later, I believe
yeah.
in
It's a little bit
episode
later
like
on. He kind of mentions it, and a lot of his admiration comes where he kind of mentions that she reminds him of his sister.
mm-hmm,
Is
exactly.
generally what a lot of the issue is, right? Um,
Well, yeah, because Midori too is like she is sorry for pushing him away a bit, but she's also weirdy that like he talks to no one else, right? So Midori and Moto have a conversation, and then like we said, we learned that Moto's grandfather asked him to transfer to their school, right? And like this is like the family problem that you brought up a little bit earlier, and that's kind of
yeah,
like the big commotion about this episode, which I personally don't think we needed a whole episode based on this. I personally feel like it's kind of a waste
I
of
I
time.
I
I'm
wouldn't
sorry.
have cared. I wouldn't have cared so much if they did something with him, or if it was relevant to the story later.
Well, that's the thing, and it just never was,
That's
which
that's
is the
exactly it.
problem. And I think there's like okay, so um Mayu, she just seems weird and has this weird aura about her the whole anime, and nothing ever really happens with that. Like they
No,
wrote this character for like a purpose, and then they never ended up getting to that purpose. I felt like her character was incomplete. Though I felt.
there was a lot of suspicion on her motives and a lot of her decision making. There's a lot that you feel when you're listening to her talk is that she's hiding and she's lying, and that
Yes,
her intentions are not pure and they're not true. So you get this sense like you're waiting for her to be show her true colors and to show how two-faced she is. And you're just waiting for it the whole time.
and it never happened.
No, no, she just carried on with the same kind of weird personality that again yeah, it's definitely weird. Um but
So
yeah,
yeah, Moto talks to Kumiko real quick about his sister, and about how his grandfather forced her to play in a concert band, though. And then she got sick, and then she couldn't really enjoy it anymore. And this is another
Well, he
big reason
didn't
why he.
force her. She wanted to specifically go to his school because she had this image of performing with him. And that was
Mm,
more what it was. And then what happened was is while she was there at the school, people got jealous. And it was the same kind of
yes,
thing as what happened in the first year, where it was like, well, because you guys know each other, that's why they got selected. Not because of
exactly.
talent, it's because of this, right? And he
And
said that
that's the
he's
reason
seen,
why he didn't want to go there either.
yeah, because he said he's seen the hell that she went through and how much she got put through to try to fulfill her kind of image on what band was, right? And then when he seen that, he was like, I didn't want to. He's like, I felt like if I went there, I would be letting her down if I didn't enjoy the image of what she felt band would be playing with her grandfather, right? So he
Exactly.
was like, I felt like I would be disrespecting it, and with her, so he's like, I couldn't do it. So that's why he kind of like shuns it away and kind of shuns all questions about it, and kind of like, no, let's just kind of move on, kind of thing, right?
Well, that's what he says too, is that he wants to try to enjoy concert band the way his sister was hoping for, right? So that's
Yeah,
kind of why he
yeah,
chose this school, and he ends up telling his family at the end of this episode that he's going to stay in his current school, and he declined the offer to go to the
yeah,
grandfather's school. And that's kind of where this episode end,
yeah.
right?
Well, it ends with him going in, and Midori finally plays a piece with him, and then they kind of like, in a weird way, kind of like make up and kind of have their own little moment.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
episode 5 starts with Kumiko. Yeah, stop that. Kumiko comes home, and her father is starting to ask her more and more of what she's going to do after high school. Like, what are your thoughts after this? So she just says, "Look, I'm not sure yet." And he's trying to take a different approach, and I like this where, yes, he was hard on his first daughter, but he also was feeling different about the mistakes that he made in that situation, and he's trying to correct it with Kumiko.
Yeah, I never know what that's going to be like.
and I and I really like it. So he tells her, he's like, "Look,
Funny.
I know." He's like, "Look, if there's something you really want to do, just say it." And he
This hit a
says,
little
"I
bit
won't."
close to this hit like a little bit too
I know,
close to home for me. Like just
I know.
just a little bit too much.
So he says, "I won't force anything on you, and if you're having trouble deciding, go talk to your sister." Kind of thing, right? So again, she's talking things over at school, and Kosuka talks again about music school.
Yeah, trying to pressure her into doing it and like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and she kind of says like, "Look, I can't see a way of myself making money off music." And Kosuke is basically saying like, "Look, I'm going to be a professional musician. Like that's what I want to do. I want to be
That's
a
great for
professional
her.
artist, right?"
Yeah, exactly.
Um, so they're trying to decide on time to hold auditions, and they're suggesting that they're trying to like do it in June like they normally do. And Shuichi suggests, well, why don't we do it in July? Because a lot of people complained last year that things were done too early, and they kind of like let their guard down.
Mm.
So he's like, why don't we do it here? And they kind of agree. Um,
Well, they agreed to hold auditions too before every
yeah,
competition.
yeah, because Kumiko had mentioned that Mayu had said that at her old club, like her old school, that's what they did is they used to hold auditions every single performance to kind of make sure everyone is working hard and they're not being complacent.
Complacent though. Yeah,
Yeah, with their
exactly. So
with their position.
speaking of Mayu, yeah, she also once again says that she doesn't know if she wants to compete because she feels bad for taking up a spot. She's like, well, I haven't been here the whole time, so I don't really I it's annoying. Mayu asks Kumiko to go to the festival with her, but she turns her down to an eye. Kosuka invites her to her place on the night of the festival, and they chat a bit and they play in the studio that she has. And then did we see her mom again, right? Was that her mom?
Yeah, that was her mom,
Yeah, that was her
who
mom.
apparently is
Yeah.
so much taller and bigger than all
Yeah, her
both of the
mom's so
girls.
much hot. Her mom is so hot. Did you see her mom? I was like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, her mom was so hot.
Yeah, okay, I get it. You have an Okasan kink. Let's move on.
So we get flashbacks of everyone enjoying the fest. Like we get flashes of everyone enjoying the festival and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Uh, and Reina worries about her and Kumiko's friendship after school because they both believe that they have a special friendship at the end. Like this is the end of the episode, but Reina
yeah,
is worried. She's like, "Well, if we don't go to the same school, like we might not talk again and stuff like that." So they do make a promise to like continue to talk and stuff like
yeah.
that as this episode is ending. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's basically it. In Kumiko kind of playfully teases her like, "Oh, that's is that why you keep pouting? Is that what keeps going on?" Like, she's kind of like trying to goad her into it. She's trying to like hide it, right? And but yeah, so we jump into episode 6 where again they starts off with practice. Um, so they notice that Mayu is not in any of the pictures that she takes.
Yeah, she's not in any pictures because like I enjoy taking the pictures. I don't like
Yeah,
see, and
I don't
again,
actually like being in them.
this is like more of the red flags that I was getting about this character, and I'm just
Yeah.
again, nothing ever transpired with it. It's like I think this character was incomplete.
Well, that's
But
what I mean. Like there's so much like this little moment becomes a couple moments where like some of the other girls are like, what's going on here? Like what's actually going on? Like it does set
right.
up a lot of red flags on them.
Hmm.
So they're talking again about the upcoming auditions, and Mayu is still on the fence doing it, and she's like, "Well, I would really feel bad if I took up a spot." And again, she's kind of like told, like, just do it. Like, like I don't care if you do it. Like, I'm happy if you win based on the fact of you're just that good. That's fine. It's what's best for the band, right? Um, so then the auditions come up, and they go through and they do their auditions, and they do announce the winners.
I have the list of the winners if you want me to read them. If not, it doesn't matter. It's up to you.
I mean, pretty much most of the ones that we suspect.
I
The
mean the
only
important
shocking one is
ones, right? That
the
hmm?
only shocking one was the tuba. So they do take note that Suzume ends
Mhm.
up getting one of the spots as a inexperienced first year,
Yeah,
and
Susan
some
makes
people
it.
do question the decision making of it.
Yep, that's kind of where it like that's the discourse kind of around this episode. Like, yeah, people are questioning why Suzume made it, like you said, as first year,
Yeah.
and
Now,
Kumiko and
what irritates me is the girl's argument. Like her argument. This is literally what she says. Her music and her sound is really good, but the other girl is more talented, so she should have got it. So if you're admitting the
yeah,
other girl has a
wait,
better sound and sounds better, but the other girl should get it because she's more talented, it's like what are we doing? That's not how things work. With auditions, whoever sounds better. It's like what are we doing?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that just
I
annoyed me.
Yeah, me too. So then Kumiko and Taki talk about the auditions, like
Yeah.
they talk about them as well. Uh, and at the end here, we just see Reina and hopes that Kumiko and her can play the solo or the duets, the solis at nationals, right? And that's kind of
Yeah,
where this episode ends, is like them just hoping that they can play together at nationals.
yeah, yeah. So then we see episode 7 start with them showing that Team Monica has won gold at their event.
It-
Which I'm like, why are they
I
still
don't.
carrying on with that name?
I
I
was
was
gonna
like, I
say,
don't.
why are they still carrying on with that whole thing, right? Like
Well,
it's
it's funny because some of the girls from that group mention it. They're like, "Why? Why are we called Monica?"
exactly right. Um. So yeah, because they just took the first syllable of their names, right, and put it together.
Yeah.
Essentially, is how they got their name, which means the group is not the same. So like, makes no sense
I know.
anymore.
Well, that's what
So
I mean.
we get to see the band practicing, and we see Taki going back to making his corrections again, which is nice to see because I don't think we've seen enough of that after like 7 episodes already.
I know.
Like we don't see it enough as we did like in the earlier 2 seasons. So I feel like a lot of the practice time and a lot of the time where you can believe they're like getting better and stuff is just not here in this season, and that kind of like
Yeah.
makes it lackluster for me a little bit. Kumiko and Reina talk about meeting up over the short break that they have, and then they go to the pool. Is it the pool? I put the pool, but I think it's like more like water park sort of thing. Do they go to? I know
Yeah, it's
there's a
like a
water
water park, but
slide there.
they call it a
Yeah,
pool. They call it a
yeah, okay.
pool, and yes, Kosaka is pouting because he's like, I'm gonna be busy, but I still have time. But she keeps saying
Mhm.
like, yeah, I'm busy, but I'm still gonna have time. And she's like, but what about the pool? What about the pool? And she's kind of like pouting
Exactly.
like the whole way home, right? Um, and yeah, they agree to go to the pool, and Kumiko invites some of the other girls to come along.
Yeah, but like basically all the main girls end up going.
Yeah,
Yuko and Natsuki show up at the school. They talk a bit. Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry. Yeah, Yuko and Natsuki show up. I'm like, oh wow, that is good. I was really enjoying to like see them.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I
They're
really,
and
and they're
because they're
hot too.
adults,
They're hot.
they're now much taller than all the
That
other
was
schoolgirls because they're adults now.
this annoyed me so bad because I'm like, it has been 1 year. You like it's been probably like half a year since you have graduated. There is no, you're not getting any taller. Like,
No,
oh my god,
I
what are we
know,
doing?
I
They
know,
changed
I
their
know.
hair and stuff like that, and they obviously they're
Yeah.
dressed different, which makes them look hotter. I mean, they look way better, right? And they're adults now, so it's okay, right? Yeah, they
Okay,
could even be moms. They could be
maybe she's just a
moms.
women simp. Maybe she's just a woman simp.
So. You know what is funny? Because like even when there's anime that is based around adults, they all
Mhm.
don't look like that.
I
It's
know,
just like only when they portray the high school student and the adult, then there's like so much different.
I
But
know,
anyway,
I
I
know.
really enjoyed seeing them. I liked seeing them come to the school. I think it was like a really,
Yeah,
I thought it was really neat. They catch up a bit and kind of see where they're going. So Kimiko goes to a college event to help her kind of decide on what she wants to be doing after school. And after the day, she still isn't certain on what she is wanting to do. And then we see her
yeah,
sisters back home, and um, they head out. Oh yeah, this is when they actually go to the pool.
yeah. They
And
go to the
again,
pool.
Mayu and Kumiko just sit around, and Mayu feels like she's too easygoing, and she
Yeah.
gets along with everyone, and so she thinks that's a pro again, like the air that they have with Mayu. I just still feel like up to this point that there's still something up with her,
Well,
and
and it gets so much
like,
worse. It gets so much
oh my
worse. So
god,
after this, uh, Kumiko kind of convinces Mayu to join in on a picture. So she agrees and she sets her timer and she goes in and she takes a picture with everyone in the group. So later on, she comes into class and she's showing everyone the photos, and they ask her like, "What about the last one we took? What about that one that we took at the end, like as a group?" And she says, "Oh yeah, there was actually an issue with that one, and it didn't actually develop,
see,
so we don't actually
again, it's
have
the
it."
weirdness, right? It's like, yeah.
And you can see Kumiko has taken note of all this, and so is Kanade. Like they're both taking note of all this and the weird behavior. Um, with how she is with all this. So episode 8 starts with them going to the 3-day camp, and
It's
we
the
see
band
that,
camp, yay!
and then we see that Satomi and Hashimoto return to kind of help teach again, and
Yeah,
wildly
actually,
terrible joke.
that's episode 9. I have it. Episode 9, Hashimoto makes a very
I know,
bad joke.
wild joke.
Oh my god. When I watched it before you did, and
Yeah,
when I was watching it, we were talking, and I was like, "You have to see what happened in episode 9." It's like,
yeah,
what the heck? What did I just watch?
yeah,
But anyway,
yeah.
so
So we
yeah,
go
they're
through.
practicing their sectionals,
Yeah,
and as an ensemble a little bit, and like you said, we see the senseis making corrections, and then there's more idle gossip that I don't really take notes of. I don't know if any of it was really important.
Again, it's the same back and forth. Mayu, Kumiko, do you want the solo? And should I back out? It's the same kind of routine stuff. Um, so Kosaka comes and asks Kumiko to come practice the solo with her 'cause she really wants her to get the solo right. And she
Mm,
said that while you're better than Mayu, she said the difference is that Mayu has good instincts and just knows how Taki wants it to be played. It's like she
mm.
just knows the sound he's looking for, and she's just catering to him rather than just playing it the way she wants to play it.
Again, it's like that sneakiness, right? That like Mayu just seems to have like that sneakiness that I feel
Yeah,
like, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Kumiko basically says like, look, and same thing with Kosuke. She's like, look, I intend to play with you at nationals. Like that's my goal, right? And again, we go through, and Mayu's asking Kumiko again, should I forfeit the solo?
And then
And
Kumiko snaps here, which I like, and she's just like, listen, the best people are going to play. The best people are going
let's
to
move
play to
on.
give the school the best chance. Stop
Stop
making
asking.
others worry about
Yep,
this. Exactly.
yep. And she's like, it's not in the best interest of the school if you just quit. Like it's we have to kind of go through with this, right? And she basically says like, again, Mayu kind of snaps again, and it kind of snaps back in her weird way and says, look, like I'm just not eager to play the solo. It's like honestly, as long as I'm playing with everyone, I'm happy. Like I just want to play with everyone.
If that's the case, when you do your audition, you throw the audition. It's
That's what I
like
mean.
not that hard. Like if you don't
Yeah,
want to do it, you can throw the audition. Really, it's not a problem. Which they end up having the audition, and then we see
yeah,
Midori
yeah.
sitting and listening to music, saying she cannot sleep. Though it's kind of just revealed she just had a conversation with Motomu, which we don't
Yeah.
actually know what Motomu they talk about. We really don't know
We
about it.
don't we don't because they ask her and Midori says, no, I'm gonna keep it to myself.
Exactly.
Like she flat out says, I'm not gonna tell you guys, right? Um
So we get the audition results here at the end,
yeah.
and yeah, there's big change. Mayu made it. She ends up getting it, and not Kumiko, which I put like, wow. I was like, I was really not happy with this. I will be
I
100% honest with you. I saw it coming. That's the problem, as I
So
saw it
did I.
coming,
I knew it
but
was
I
coming
wasn't
too.
happy with. I wasn't going to be happy with it. Right.
Initially, so here's my opinion. So initially I was with you on it, was more of without hearing, because the problem I have with this is, and it makes note later on in the season, that Taki doesn't give the results himself. He always gets somebody else to do the results. And
Yeah. Hype.
he so nobody gets his perspective, nobody understands where he's coming from with a lot of this stuff, right? So a lot of people's issues that they're having is that they don't feel that Mayu is that much stronger of a performer than Kumiko. So they're like, if they're on the same level,
You should give it to the
why are you
president, though.
choosing one or the other?
Oh
Like,
yeah, that too.
why wouldn't you just give it to the third year, who's in their final year, right? If there's
Well,
no real
Mayu's
difference
also a
between the
third
two of
year.
them. Yeah,
Masa's
but
also in
but
third
again,
year.
she was a transfer, right? It's a
Right.
little bit different
They
in their
give it to the
eyes,
girl
right?
who is always here, who's the president though
Yeah,
as well, which is where
yeah,
a lot of the discourse kind of came from too, right?
yeah, and that's the thing, right? So you kind of see too where even again like throughout the suspicion of all this, right? Because you see Mayu is sitting here talking with Kanade, and she's like, "I hope we can just all play together." And then she kind of like Kanade is like looking at her like weird, like, "Do you honestly mean that?" Again, trying to like
Exactly.
feel out her true intentions, right? Because she's
Yeah,
100%
because
suspicious of her.
oh yeah, and Canada didn't make it, right? So I actually said like that's the beginning of episode 9. Like we like see Canada not making it, and it is sad, right?
Yeah,
It is sad. I thought it was like really
yeah,
sad
because
that she did not make it.
well, that was the other Discord too. Is that he decided to add another tuba player and take out the other euphonium
Euphonium.
player.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and a lot of people still had issues with that too, kind of like not understanding fully as to why he had done it, right? And that's where a lot of it is like a lot of people just don't fully understand because again, he's not telling any of them it, right? He's not saying like, look, I chose another tuba over euphonium because I have your bass sound. And I think in a lot of ways, if he did little things like this, it probably would have made things a little bit easier on everyone. But again, he wasn't doing it, and I understand because he doesn't want like this whole like backing forth on the whole decision process, right? Because you don't want to get called out over every little decision that you make, right? Um, so you go through and we see again Mayu is chasing down Kumiko, and you know I'll turn down the solo, and then
Are
Kumiko
we gonna
again
just
begs her to
glance over
stop.
at Hashimoto's bad joke? You want to say the
Yeah, I am
joke?
skipping that. I'm not even saying it. It's dumb. I'm skipping it.
It is so. It was so bad. It was so out of place,
I know.
especially in a room with like 90% girls. It just made it like way worse. I was like,
Yeah. Well, he
if
basically
I ever
says like, "What?
had,
Go suck
if
on
a
your
male,
mother's boob." Like, it's like,
if
what
a
are we
male
doing?
teacher ever said that when I was in class, I'd be like, I'm going to talk to someone about that. I think. It's like, what?
Well, and that's exactly
Oh
it,
my
right?
god! And like it was, and you could feel it, like the air, like everyone knew it was terrible. Everyone was like, no one was laughing. It was like, he's
Well,
like,
that's
oh,
just
did I
it.
just bomb?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, of
Oh
course
god.
you did.
Anyway, like you said,
So
Mayu was talking to Kumiko about like, oh, maybe you should pray instead. Oh my god.
yeah, and she begs her to stop, and then we see Kumiko is just basically like, "Look, I just want to be alone for now. Like, leave me be," kind of thing. And she kind of explains, she's like on her way to her room. She's kind of like in her head, like she's like, I know I'm angry, but I don't know if I'm angry at myself, if I'm angry at somebody, or something entirely different, right? Like she's not 100% sure exactly what she's feeling. Um, and again, she's kind of having a conversation with Kanade, and Kanade is kind of like pointing out, like, look, I don't understand where Taki's head is at this point with some of his decision making. And again, a lot of it comes down to between her and Mayu. Because again, she's like, look, like you two are not that different. That he could have kept the solo being you. So she's like, I just don't understand his decision making as like what is he like, what is he doing, right? And this kind of doubt kind of spirals with a lot of tension throughout this episode.
Well, yeah, because we see Shichi um getting upset now about the auditions as well on Kumiko's behalf. And
Yeah.
like his attitude is now worrying the underclassmates and stuff, right? And again, I put here, I'm like, can everyone just stop wasting Kumiko's time? Like everyone is
I know.
stopping and talking. Like every
Yeah.
single character tried to talk to Kumiko in this episode, and it was like, I was like, oh my god. Um, and I think Reina is right in thinking that it's best to just leave those behind who are not wanting to take winning gold seriously, because we kind of see more of that discourse, and they begin to wonder if Taki has changed, like if his methods of grading or deciding who plays has changed since
Yeah.
their first performance. And Reina is also like just fed up about everyone's whining about this and that. Like it's just as like you said, this whole discourse, this whole episode about Kumiko not making it, and then all these characters having complaints, and then Reina and Kumiko said that it's her job as the president to hear the other students' complaints. And she also said
Yeah.
that she doesn't fully trust Taki's decision either because of how things have been going lately. And Reina snaps. And Reina says, "Well, Kumiko, I think you are a failure as a student, as the president, because you're supposed to be on Taki's side because he's the advisor, like no matter
You're
what,
supposed to
right?
just blindly trust him. Like,
Yeah, you're
and,
supposed to
and it's
exactly, which
hard.
is what the
And it's
words
hard for
was.
Reina. It's hard for Reina to kind of take things out a little bit. I think with Koska, like with her decision making on this matter, she's not exactly unbiased either because
Well, she
of the
loves
fact that
Taki,
she's
right?
in love with
Like,
him, right?
duh.
So
Yeah,
everything that he says is going to be gold. So it's like,
exactly.
and I do think she definitely crossed the line with a lot of her wording and the way she acted in this. Um, this whole episode, like a lot of her like clashing with Shuichi and like yelling at each other about it, and just yelling at all the other students in class. Like anytime they bring up like just the simplest of questions, and she's just snapping at them, like like stop questioning him, just trust him and stop it, and like all of this kind of stuff, right? Um, yeah, there was just a lot of discord in that episode. Um,
It doesn't end either, as episode 10
no,
starts with Taki. Well, Taki is aiming to create music that is tailored for competitions. And
yeah,
that's what he says. Like, he's like, well, we want to win, right? So these players and this music, this is what gets graded highest in these kind of competitions. So this is what we should strive to do. And
well, and
again,
that's
we
just it.
continue.
And that's just it, and that's the whole reason. Like Kumiko kind of went and talked to him because she was like, "I need to understand your decision making on this. Like, why you're deciding on things that you're deciding on, right? Because it's easier for me to kind of like talk to the other students and kind of shed some of these doubts if I know, you know, your reasoning behind it, right?
Exactly, and we see the continuation of discourse around the
Yeah,
band due to the split practices and the constant auditions that they are having, right? And then Reina and Shichi get into a fight again, and
yeah,
Kumiko tells Reina that, listen, if we continue the way we're doing now, we're not going to make it past regionals. Like, there's no way. Like, there's just too much going on. Like, we won't make it past the regionals just like it was
yeah,
last year. I
yeah.
actually really like this because Kumiko goes and visit Asuka. Oh yeah, she visits Asuka is great. I love Asuka. She looks so good. Right, like Asuka looks so hot. Did you see
Yeah, what did
Asuka?
we say,
She was
Tim?
so great.
Yeah, and did you
Uh
notice how much larger both her and Calorie were? Now that
yeah,
they're
see
adults, they're just so
yeah,
much a bit taller and
they
bigger. And I'm like,
oh yeah, they were definitely
I
bigger. They grew up a
was like,
lot. Yeah, it's
I'm just like
great.
shaking my head, like that's not how this works.
No, no, it's exactly how it did. No, it is so good, actually. I loved it.
So she kind of explains everything to them, and they kind of basically says like, one of your greatest skills is you just say whatever you want, just whatever's on your head, you just say it,
Yeah, just
right,
finally
without any
speak
kind
your
of
mind.
consequences. Yeah,
Exactly.
and that's what she said. She's like, look, you were able to reach me and get me to stay in the club, right? So it's like you should be able to achieve this kind of thing. Um, and yeah, and that's exactly what she does. She goes into the class the next day, and she has a heart to heart with everyone,
Yeah.
and
She tells
starts
everyone,
crying
she's
and kind
like,
of like gets everyone out.
yeah, she's like,
Yeah,
this year we give everyone a fair chance to play. They like we've changed the way things are done this year, and it was a
Yeah,
way to provide the school with the best chance to thrive in competition. And
yeah.
Kumiko announces that it wasn't Taki's decision to do this. It was kind of like our decision as like the
Yeah.
leaders, right? And she realizing that it was a mistake, and she's sorry, but she believes that in the hard work that everyone is putting in. Um, yeah. So I guess it was a like I feel like she had nothing. I don't think she really needed to like apologize. If I'm being honest, I just don't
No,
really feel like she should have. But she felt obligated to as the
because she's
president.
Japanese.
It's not. It's not. No, that is not how it is. That's not why. I don't.
Am I wrong?
I don't apologize for nothing.
Boo, boo, boo. Okay.
So they play at regionals, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And they just skip the song. I'm just like, okay,
Again,
sure,
again.
whatever.
This
Like,
is what
oh
they
my
did.
god.
That's what they did in the second half of the second season that irritated me so much. Is they started skipping too much of the performances, and they were focusing way too much on the drama. And I think early on in this season, they did the same thing. They cut a lot of the performances, they cut a lot of the stuff, and they were just focusing way too much on the drama. And again, they could have paced this out. Like if they skipped that whole Motomu episode, they could have paced
Really,
these
they really could have.
performances out more.
Yeah. They there's like if you took out that one episode, you could literally have kept everything else and then still had the musical.
Yeah. And,
I
and,
just
and,
don't know
that's just
why
it,
they had
right?
that episode.
I
Because
don't
again,
get it
it's
either.
like they had it and then they went nowhere with it. They went nowhere with this
Well, that's what I
character.
mean.
They
They
had
don't
that like
circle
one
back to
small
anything.
moment. No, they don't. They had that one moment during the band camp with him and Midori, and that was it. And we never hear about that ever again. They never talk about him like ever again. It's like, why did you even bring that up? It was just, it felt like it was a waste of time.
I know, and that's just it.
So,
So
episode 11
yeah,
starts with them making it, they get gold, and they make it to nationals again, which I will be honest, I don't know how. At this point, I was like, I hope they fail. Because
yeah,
I was like, we have 3 more episodes left, and we're going to, and they expect us to believe that they can win nationals. Like, I almost felt like it should have been better they failed. And then they could have focused a little bit more on the slice of life and them
yeah,
graduating and stuff like that. But no, they make it, of course.
yep. So they go
Uh
through. Yeah, everyone was talking now. Everyone's simping about how good Mayu
and
and
Reina
Kosuke
played.
Solo was. Yeah,
Yeah.
and how that's the only reason they won, and it was so good. Um, yeah, and again, Kumiko and Taki have a brief conversation about everything, and
Yeah, I literally put they have a conversation, nothing of note. I just didn't feel
that
like it
it
was worth
really
notes
isn't.
of there.
And then the four girls are again, they're having a conversation with Kumiko saying she's not sure what she's going to be doing, and Midori kind of lets it slip that Kosuke is going to America to study abroad.
Hi.
And they're all kind of like everyone's kind of taken aback by the statement. And then later on, Kosuke is talking with Kumiko, and she tells her that she was going to tell her first. She said, as soon as I knew for sure that this is what was happening, like I got to prove this is what was happening, she was like, I was going to tell you first. And she basically said she's really worried about her and asked what she's going to, kind of do after. And then this time, I thought she was going to ask her to go to music school again, but this time she asked her to go to a performance at the university. And
Mm-hmm.
Kumiko agrees. She's like, "I'll go, but I'm just going to be listening. I'm not going to be going about, the school." And then kind of once again, she asked her about music school. Once again, it's like this reoccurring thing between the two of them. Kosuke kind of finally apologizes to her for the things she said, and it was a little bit cute because Kumiko basically opens her arms and asks her for a hug. So no, you're gonna have to prove to me that you love me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
So
kind of hug and then they go on their practice again.
yeah, practicing for nationals. Mario's like, I don't care about this. I don't care about giving it up because I know that you want to play with Reina.
Yeah,
Despite Kumiko reassuring her that she wanted to be fair audition, Kanade tells that Kumiko that she's playing mind games with her, and if she was serious about giving it up, she wouldn't talk about it, and she would just kind of basically throw
yeah.
like the
And I
sodas,
don't
right?
think necessarily think, and I think in a weird way she thinks she's playing mind games with her and stuff, but she's also like in a way like saying like she wants you to tell her to do it. She won't do it herself
Yeah,
because
you're
if
gonna
she
have to be
would,
like,
she
yeah,
would just do
quit.
it. Yeah,
Exactly.
so she's almost like in a way trying to force you to say it, kind of thing, right? And she like really
So,
wants her to do that.
mhm. So we see Kumiko meets up with Reina, Yuko, Asuka, and Natsuki for the performance. I love how Yuko, like, what the heck was she wearing?
I
She looked
know.
like a clown. She looked like a clown, right? I was like,
Yeah, Mizore.
why?
And again,
Oh
all the
god.
girls now are all just so much
Oh,
taller and bigger. Like
did
it's like
you know what makes no sense? Yuko too, right? Like she was
I
so
know,
short. Like and now she's
I
like
know,
just taller than Kumiko. It's like what are we doing? Right? Get
I
out
know.
of
I was
here.
just like, So she
But I
goes
will
through the
say
performance and that.
they got all like oh yeah, they were so dressed. Did you see them? They were in the outfit. They're so
Yes,
dressed up.
I
They were
did.
so hot. Oh my god, did you see that?
Yeah,
I
yes,
have so
I
many.
seen that.
I was snapping like screenshots so many times on my phone. Like oh
I
yeah.
believe that. so she, so Kumiko asked me today what she would think about her going to her college next year. And she's kind of like, I don't really see an issue with it. Like, whatever. I don't really have an opinion. But she does say that she's like, I obviously can't picture you going here though.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
she kind of agrees. And then you see, she's walking with Koska back home. And they both kind of point out that practice is going to be over in a month. It's going to be like they got like a month left to practice and that's it. And they're never going to play together again, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And she tells Koska that she is not going to music school. She's like, look, I've decided I'm not going there. And then Kosuke says, "Well, if that's your decision, then I want to end things with you right away. Like
Yeah, I want
I
to
don't
end
want
our
to talk to
friendship
you."
because
Yep,
without music, we have nothing in common. So it's best to just give up their friendship after nationals.
yeah,
But
because she's like,
Kumiko
"We're
said
just
she
gonna
won't
drift
give up
apart."
on it that easily. Yeah, exactly. Mm.
Yeah, yeah. She said, "I'm gonna hold on to it." She's like, "Because you're special." So she's like, "It's our friendship will hold. Like it'll be okay, kind of thing, right?"
So
So
before we get into the last two episodes here, I wanted to say that all the way up to halfway through this episode, like as soon as they met up with like Yuko, Asuka, and Natsuki for like to see the performance.
yeah,
Everything before for the first 11, like the first two episodes were I like the first 2 3 episodes, they were fine.
yeah,
Episode 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and halfway through 11 were, in my opinion, worse. They were bad in terms of like against season 1 and
mm-hmm,
season 2
yep,
because there was a lot of things that made season 1 really good that they
yeah,
didn't have. And in season 2, the back half of season 2 was not very good. And a
yeah.
lot of this season took a lot of that. And so for me, there was just so many things that I didn't particularly like up to this point. But the last half of 11 and 12 and 13 are so good that it saved the score for me.
Oh yeah,
I would
yeah. Because
kind of
I
like,
was talking to you. Because I
mhm.
talked to you after I watched the first half of it, and I told you I said I went from an 8.3 to a 7.9. Like
Yeah,
once we went through all this, like it dropped the score just because of all that nonsense, right? All that
hmm
extra, stuff that just didn't add anything to the story fully. Because again, they don't do anything with it. They don't go anywhere, with it, right?
And the whole
Um,
time too, up to this point as well, is like I kept worrying about the pacing. Like they're supposed
yeah,
to make nationals, but it's like it was literally episode 10 where they just played at regionals. Like, what are
I
we
know.
doing? I'm
Well,
like,
that's
oh
what I
my
mean. It's like
god.
episode what 8 is when they're talking about the prefectures, and it's like, why are we only here? Like, what are we doing with a lot of this, right?
Boot camp was at 8.
Yeah, yeah, and it was like right before that. Like, I'm like, what are we doing? Like,
Yeah, it's like we were halfway through the season and they didn't play at all yet, and I'm just like,
yeah,
I was so worried about the pacing. For good
yeah.
reason, like it does get rushed at the end. Uh, but
It,
that's
it
because they
does, and like I
skip
say,
so much.
well,
That's the
that's what I mean. And
problem.
like I
They
said,
skip a
if they
lot of
did,
what made the first season great.
yeah, and like I said, if they skipped a lot of that nonsensical stuff at the beginning, they would have had enough time. Like we didn't need Maya asking Kumiko for the 1300th time, you know, should I quit, right? Like again, it doesn't add value to the story outside of just sheer annoyance, right? So it's like, what? Yeah, there's a lot of issues that I had specifically with a lot of those ones where I'm like, I just don't understand their positioning on a lot of this.
Hi. Yeah, I had a lot of problems, so. We go to episode 12 and they have their final auditions. Sort
So
of.
they announced the winners, and when it comes to the euphoniums, he basically says that there will be another audition because he can't decide between the two of them on who should be the solo, and that he's going to leave it as a fan vote. He's going to leave it like an audience vote kind of thing, right? Like everyone's going to vote on it. Um, yeah, so Kumiko goes and specifically asks him, and he says like, look, he was having trouble deciding because he's like, you're both fit for the role and you're both equal. So he's like, I couldn't decide, who to kind of put in that situation, right? And he says that also, given the fact that she's the president, he kind of wanted the approval of everyone on this matter.
If they are tied, if I am in his position, I'm sorry, but if they are tied, I would give it to the girl who was here with you for the whole 3 years. I'm sorry, I don't know if that's like
That's what
dumb,
I would have done
but
too.
it's
It's
just
like
like logical,
if you're
right?
saying the
Like, come
talent, if you're
on.
saying, and that's what people's issue was, like I say, throughout the second audition and this one, was if
Yeah.
you are saying I can't decide between the two, they're equally talented, their performance were equally good, and I can't decide between the two, why are you choosing Mayu? Like, why over, Kumiko? If there's literally no skill difference and no difference in their performance between the two of them, that the two of them could have done a perfect performance if either of them are so interchangeable, then what was the purpose of swapping the Mayu? Like, honestly, what was the purpose? Like, it makes no sense.
It really just, you're right. It just didn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
So at least we find out what Kumiko finally wants to do after high school, yet we don't see her write anything. She just kind of turns in her paper finally. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, that's
Yeah.
good that she, I guess, decided that.
And then Mayu finally kind of explains a little bit of her own kind of like position on why she's so hesitant with auditions and going through with these kind of things. And it's kind of revealed that she ended up having like one of her friends quit because of her specifically. Because she was always being selected for the parts and always being selected for the roles. That
Yeah,
her friend basically got jealous and quit. It's essentially what
exactly.
happened. Right? And then Kumiko kind of tells her like, don't hold back. Like I don't want you to hold back. Like I want you to go through, because basically like I want to beat you. Like if I'm better than you, then I want to win, right? Um,
Exactly.
So they go in to hold the auditions, and I like the way they did this because it definitely was a better option than the way they did it in the first season with Kaori and the other girl, um, where
It's
they just
Reina.
showed,
Who's
yeah,
Reina?
where they just play, right? And then people
Yes.
decide rather than anything. So without taking away the popularity of each person, what they do
Hmm.
is they have them perform behind a curtain and then do a vote. So both of them perform, they cast a vote, and the votes are tied.
Yeah.
And Taki's confused, going, "We had odd numbers. How are we tied?"
And of course it's Reina. So in
Yeah,
I would say I'm mad. I don't know if you were mad, but I was mad.
I was because again there
Cause
was
she
no.
knew. She
She knew.
knew the sound. She's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
I knew who you were. I knew which number you were because I know your sound."
yeah, yeah.
So you
Now,
actively chose against her
yep,
after dreaming of playing in nationals with her your
and
final year.
begging her,
You
and begging
make
her.
and begging her, and you made the final decision to not.
Yep.
This made me so
And
mad. I'm like, oh my god, I was so
the
mad.
worst part is that there was no difference between the two of them. Again,
That's the that's the thing.
there was no skill difference. There was no difference between the two of them. So it's not saying like Kumiko messed up, or Kumiko aired out on herself, right? I get so fired up on this one. This really irritated me so much
I was mad.
because I'm
I
just
was
like I
shocked,
don't get
right?
it. I knew something like this was gonna happen. I kind of suspected it, but I was like, the way they went about it, I was like, it just made me so mad because it made no sense, no sense.
Yeah,
So
cause like Reina beats herself up over like, I don't know why. I don't know why I chose her. I knew that was not you. I don't know why. Like she doesn't know. She
yeah,
literally did not even explain why she chose Mayu. Like there's, she had no
that's what I'm
idea.
saying.
And I think maybe a part of her was a bit. I think it was like she was selfish, in the fact that I think she made the decision out of spite because Kumiko isn't going to music college. And I actually think that that might have been her underlying choice. But she was too afraid to say it. But I think that's what it was.
More than likely, I
And
think that's what I
she
was kind of
continues
feeling
to worry
too.
about their friendship afterwards, that she's like, I don't want that to be our last memory. Like I want it to just be over with now or something like that. I don't know
Yeah,
why. Maybe that is what it is maybe about. But that's the only thing that I can kind of maybe come up with conclusion for,
yeah,
right? Like it
yeah.
just is so I was so annoyed. It made no sense. I hated it. Reina even hated it. It was terrible.
It was just dumb. And then we see the two of them have another tender moment
Yeah, they were
again
crying
crying.
together, right? And because like that's when Reina
Yeah,
said like I knew it was you. Like, oh my god. It's so
I know.
dumb.
Like I said, it really did bother me
I
because
mean,
I'm
I
like,
get it. It
again,
like if she did make it like, oh well, it's too cliche, like blah blah blah. But like, no matter
I
which
know.
way you took, you could find fault with it. But it made sense that like she could have chosen because she knew her sound. Like that would have been like a better story, I think. The friends they dreamed about
Yes.
this. They talked about this all season, and for it to not come true, it's kind of like, why? It made no sense. I don't
Well,
understand.
and that's exactly it. And she could have literally have said like, the two of you were so close, but I knew your sound, and that's why I picked you. Like, it would have been the perfect moment, rather than the nonsense they went with.
Yeah, she could be like, "Oh, it's because I love you and I love your sound and I knew." Yeah, like, oh my God,
Yeah.
you could have confessed to her. Just
Again.
again, right? Oh, I don't know. I like.
I know. Yeah, it was just annoying.
I'm so
Yeah,
upset from
so it
this. Oh god.
the last
Anyway.
episode, so it shows them practicing again, and then Kosuke is talking with Kumiko, and she says she wants to, go out and study music more and get better at music, and really focus on that, so that she can finally confess to Tashi
Oh,
again, and this
when
time
I
as an
become
adult.
yeah, when I become as good as my father, I will confess. Like,
And I'm like,
stop, stop. So you
uh,
are going to confess to him. So when you become like when you are 20, he's gonna be like 41, right? Like what?
I know,
Stop, stop. Like I really thought that this should have stopped. And it just continued the whole all 3 seasons.
I
Like,
know.
what do we? Why? Why?
Yeah, so again, it's showcasing them continuation of their practicing and stuff, and it shows that, now it's the day before, and they're all eating together, and then again, the day immediately arrives, and it
I
showcases
do
them
like
getting
real quick
ready.
too. Is like right before the day of the competition. You do see Kumiko and Rin are playing together, and it's like that's
Yeah.
what should the final finale should have been. Like not this garbage. I don't know. I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah,
like
like I
always be
said.
hell bent on that forever. But so
Yeah.
yeah,
So
like you
the day of
said,
their
it's the day
performance
of the
shows.
competition.
Yep. And then actually, this time it actually shows the performance.
I will say, we see them all getting ready, and the words of encouragement to create their last memories together was cute, and
Yeah.
let's I like the voice motivational speech that we have Kumiko and Reina say before, like
Yeah.
they play and stuff like that. But I really love when animes do this, where you actually get to see a really long like musical piece here, and then you get the
Yeah.
flashbacks of all three
Yeah.
seasons. It was really great. I loved it
I
a
enjoyed
lot.
it
I
too.
love when animes do this. I'm a sucker for this kind of thing. You kind of see their full journey as students, and it's fun to know that we were along for the ride for this sort of thing. Like it's
Yeah.
good. Like it
Yeah.
was a good enough story where you got engaged, you started caring for the characters, which is why I'm so angry, right? Like I cared for these characters. I wanted them to play together. I got angry when it didn't happen, right? On their behalf. Right? So it's like
Well,
it
that's
was a really
exactly
good
it.
anime. And like I said, I really loved like seeing these sort of things, like the flashbacks with all of them
Yeah.
from season 1, 2, and 3. It's great.
Yeah.
This was really a pretty good anime, and of course, at the end, they finally get the gold.
Yeah.
Um, and they complete their goal. Um, so yeah, again, I love when this anime did it twice. And the ending scene is the exact same as the opening scene, where we see
Yep.
Kumiko walking to the music room. This I thought was fantastic because after the credits roll, I'm sorry, we get to see Kumiko walking into the music room, and she is the new assistant advisor to the band. So we kind of
Yeah.
like see that is what her goal ends up being. So
Yeah. Yeah.
and as
And
we
of
see
course,
this
because she's an adult, she's much taller than all the
oh yeah, she's
students.
much harder now. I mean, she's much taller, and
Like,
she finally got bigger too. She said she was worried about that, but she
yeah,
finally did it. She got
yeah,
bigger.
this is
Her
so dumb.
personality definitely grew.
So dumb.
So, yep, and at the end we see that the school's goal is the same, which is to win gold as nationals. And that's kind of where it ends. So, for me, I kind of ran through my complaints for this season. The last 2 seasons I had at 8. I had both at 8-2. This one I
Yeah.
dropped down to an 8. I still think it was the ending saved it from being in the 7s, but it just made
Yeah.
it into the 8s for me. So I kept it a B grade, I guess. So like I gave it an 8 out of 10 because I just thought the ending was good. I would have probably kept it at I probably would have brought it back up to H2 if they played together, but it just showed like the roller coaster. Like this anime series had a lot of ups and downs where the
Yeah.
highs were high and the lows were low.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly it.
So after season 1, which was really good, season 2 again was really good and also really bad, so I kind of kept it the same. But this season just had too many low moments for me where I couldn't keep it the same, but I still
Yeah,
kept it
yeah,
relatively the same, so I kept it at an 8. So that's kind of where my I also want to talk about real quick too is the animation of this of throughout this anime was good. Like it was just
yeah,
really good. I liked the way they had the light shining off the instruments. It was good.
yeah.
I like the outfits that they showcased in and outside of
Hmm.
the school. I like the fact that each class they had different ties to show what grade they were in, which I thought was neat. That kind of showcased throughout the season 2. Um so I kind of thought that was like a good little touch that I know schools do. And yeah, I thought the animation overall was good. Everything was pretty smooth. It's fun to see like instruments being played in a sort of oh my god, like animated and stuff like that. It was the same reason like
Yep,
Your Line
yep.
April did a great thing with that as well, and this did it good too. So yeah, my final score is 8 out of 10, and those are my closing thoughts. So yeah, I'm actually curious on where you ended up landing then, to Maple.
Yeah, again, same kind of issues like we talked about. Pacing issues, a lot of, like I said, a lot of the story decision making was a little bit off on I found on a lot of this where I was like, I don't get where they were going with it or why they went with what they did. I guess it was like one of those like, ooh, we're different. Ooh, we want to be different. You thought we're going this way? Haha, no, we're not. Again, it was like different just to be different, right? And again, I just felt in this story, there just would have been more of an impact if they actually went with. If you're already going to complete a happy ending moment, just go for the overtop happy ending moment. Like I don't understand some of the decision making they went in with this one, but um, again, yeah, between that and the pacing issues, like I said, I'm the same. I'm a little higher. I'm like an 8.1. Uh, but again, I had it like an 8.3, and I dropped, like I said, I dropped it down to like a 7.9, and then I had to come back up again because of um, the way that the last episodes, like you said, the last episode worked and how good they were. It did bring it back up, but yeah. So that's roughly where I had it in.
All right.
But
So
yeah,
once again, we are just like right there with our scores, so close.
yeah. But yeah, so that's it for today's episode. So again, thanks everyone for listening and following along. We do appreciate all the support. Again, follow us along all of our socials: YouTube, TikTok, Spotify. Again, we post everything in there. So again, double check on everything. And yeah, thanks again everyone for the support.
Matane. Bye bye. See you
Bye
next
bye.
time.